Obaminchen as a financial institution and I'll call any banker, they can look at that point and determine how credible you are. No more dear who say, oh, nipa we make me agin up to say and man a bosia or betiamica. The other part of credit score is say, Emma, okay, bank omunye through loans. Banks are winning now, musika, yes, udisika kotono. Said the way omunye from your money, ni say, omudi usika nebe bobosia. And in doing that, no, they make money through the interest now. But in order to make sure so more loans are back, no, they need to be able to measure the risk, control the risk. Into credit score also the level of risk they are willing to take. Into show credit score now, then they know how much they can trust you. The more they can trust you, the less risky you are. The less risky you are, the more money or the less amount they will charge you for the money they give you. So most of Nipa radio are very credible because the credit score was low. Nti me money scar, den obetia. Nti because a minimum say den obetia, no mema interest rate number form. But the minimum say we no ho ka dawson ogiska untia. The score is showing say Nipa we mint engine ntuma. Either say me fiscal name na kra, and I say the be man kra. I will make it very expensive. So that's a nutshell of what a credit score is. It just gives an idea of how credible you are to the financial system, and then it lets banks know how much risk they can take with you.
Okay. No, is that another strategic way from stopping some people from getting money, Anna? Because I said obi a minim no. O friend say o person your interview or say man $4,000. Or say $4,000 no ntua because ade kra kwakoton wo honum kra no unya so fa so within a year unya $4,000 fa so. No, so boss had na it will stop you from coming. Is that a way to deter people from being able to get credit? I mean things of
Actually,
credit.
no, that's no, because bank, they make money from the loans. The business of the bank is to give loans. In fact, so you'll be auto to seek a banks no kind of better run it to you for money to give you loan. There was a time, I don't know, so the Ghana economy be very good where the banks were chasing people with money because the only way a bank can make money is when they give you a loan. Into credit score is not a deterrent. If anything, they'll only use it to make sure they are not giving loans to people that cannot pay back. Because and there are so many factors that banks use to decide to give a loan. The credit just tells the bank what level of trust they can have in you as a lender to know whether they should give you the loan or not. And that is what I'll say. So it's not a deterrent. In it just to give them an idea of how much risk they can take with you as a person.
Okay. All right. So I feel you take credit score as here near who the safety measures are banks taking to control the risk involved. Let's go into what are some before we go into what are some of the negative aspect of not having any credit in your name. Because sometimes people don't understand. Say you're a virgin credit, wait when you credit score of 800 and not 750. But if it could be a virgin credit and it's still not as valuable as will be on kita 675 or bit when you be a kita 750 because of kind of our credit score it base. It's not just the numbers, and I know you're gonna go into the different values that comes with the numbers. Before we go into that aspect, I want us to focus on the fact that must everyone have a credit in their name to be able to live in narrow to America and Canada. Must everyone have a credit? One more cash, I want to buy everything on cash base, and I don't want to have any credit card and visa. Do you think that's a good thing?
I think, sir, for the US, Lydia, it's really important to have a certain level of credit. Of course, you cannot force we cannot force anyone to have credit. If you feel like you have all the cash you need to buy everything you need and you would never ever go to the bank to ask for money there, and you're okay, you'll be walking through the system. But to answer the question, Yes, I think say it's important say everybody establishes some kind of a credit score. It's really, really important. And this is why I say that. There, when you think about the cost of money, bibia abekwa tobia edan car, whatever you are going to buy, no, it will cost you. The cost of the money is the interest rate that you'll be charged. Right now, the interest rate is about 7.9. Okay. Inti obia okotofie. Okotofie, let's use a very simple number, $100,000. Okotofie, now credit score you good at, you can get probably 7.9%. Or credit score, yeah, you can get up to 8.5, closer to 9%.
Oh wow.
The cost of the loan, no, is higher because of your credit score. And that can even make a difference into the meme no wakoto if you the same house. Maybe because my credit into meme monthly payment here $700 a month. Now because of all credit and you are paying 1,000, that means I get an extra $300, not for anything but just for my credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's really important that you establish some kind of a credit score. You talked about the history. The history is important. You need to have the credit history, no? And then I have the rate here. So if you look at it, I'm going to go over. They look at credit age, it's about 15% of your score. How old, how long you have a credit system, it's about 15%. And then not only credit history, but credit mix. Into there's five major areas, and I was just going to go through them real quick. So to establish credit, or more year score system, now they look at 5 things. They look at your payment history, and then the most important, because I don't know, it's about 35% of your score. And what that is say who you be
Your point is around the commercial because near your life.
if it lasts more than 30 days, and then so that's when most institutions report. If the payment lasts more than 30 days, most institutions will report it. Until under 30 days, you may not even ever see anything. But your payment history has to be on point. It's the most important one. And by the end of our conversation, I'll create a simple strategy that people can use to really keep up on their payments. But your payment history, you need 35%. And then your credit utilization. Credit utilization, you cannot use it for things like mortgage or car loan. Those are different kind of loans. But they look at them also for the consumer revolving credits to say their credit cards. The amount of usage on your credit card, the credit utilization is about 30%. And I know this to be true because I work with so many people in my work as a finance and tax person to do business loans and home loans. And a lot of times, omukoji mortgage, I tell them, say, try to pay all your credit cards to 70%. Now, within a month, look at the impact. Ebimu to me, just by paying off everything to under 70% now, when their credit cards report, their credit is able to jump over 100 points. Credit utilization is huge. It's 30% of the score. If you think about it, our payment history and our credit utilization, those two alone give you 65%. Those are the most impactful things that can affect your credit score, your payment history, your credit utilization. And there are things that you don't even want to have on your credit at all. If you have it today, do whatever you can to get it off. A collection, that one you want to get rid of it as soon as possible. You don't want to ever have any collections on your credit because, and no, it's even worse. It's almost like you've gone beyond late payment all the way to SACO collections. And a lot of ways you can avoid collection just by talking to the creditors. If you can, I think that sometimes we get into a habit where, yeah, the car, because maybe we don't have the resources to pay it off, we leave it. But if you can talk to the creditors and let them know what the problem is and try to come to an amicable solution, to avoid it going to collections, that would be your best bet. Collections, they won't pay me. Then beyond collections, you don't want things like bankruptcy. And also, no. Those things you want to 100% avoid if you can. I understand so life happens, things can get difficult and then things can happen. But even collections, snake bankruptcy is not the end of the world. You can always come back up from it if you have a good plan in place. But if you can avoid it, do everything you can to avoid it. So that's really important. But if you can, if taking those two out of the question, payment history, credit utilization, first two things, remember 65%. Then your credit age, and no answer your question now, Ogbano. How long you've had your credit. And it is one of the strategies that I learned earlier on that I really want to share. And it's if you have a credit card that you use very well, and so you'll be, I want to manage your card well, I don't do this. But if you have a credit card, if you have to share electricity pay, you use it really well. It's good to put your children on it. Until by the time they've already have a strong history of credit. But one, the right way, you can also harm your kids. There are situations Obu will be 18 or go university or compel loan, they'll find out that they have a really bad credit because their parents use their name on credit cards and then they've gone to collections and everything and almost parents are destroy almost credit. Yes, I must say if you don't want to do somebody good, I don't destroy their future. And so what they want to mean more, then don't mess it up. But if you can, then help them so that they can start with a good credit score. Because early in life with their financial moves, having a good credit history. And then hard inquiries. Hard inquiries is 10%. Let me dig a little deep into hard inquiries is a very tricky one. It always bounces back. Normally, hard inquiries will drop off after 2 years. But the key to hard inquiries, they say, you only do that when you are trying to make a move. To say, what I recommend is when you start the house hunting process now, try to work with the multiple financial institutions within a 30-day period. Because every institution there will run your credit. All of them running your credit within that 30 days now will count as one run. The goal for hard inquiries, let's say, you want to avoid having multiple hard inquiries on your credit over time. That can be really bad. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
And then the last one is credit mix. And then credit mix is about 10%. And here you want to have different kinds of credit. So mortgage, car loan, or long-term loan, mortgage or car loan, that's one of them. And then you can move to the next one, which is revolving credit, like a credit card. And then even your bills, all your bills and everything, all of them report also as part of your credit. And paying your bills on time and all of that. Having the different mix of credits now can really help improve your score. And that takes about 10% of the score. And I know I went deeper than the question, but I wanted to use that opportunity to go over the 5 areas now so that people know which areas have the most impact on their credit.
And then table bio now more table bio 5 areas
Yeah.
boss bio.
Into payment history is number one, it's 35%. That covers how well you pay every month your credit. Credit utilization, number two, is 30%. That is how much of your credit card you use every month. You want to use under 30%. Into say, credit card near 1,000 now. Every month when it reports, you want to only use about 300 by the time it reports. And that is a lot technical, so I'll come back to it. But basically, that is the idea. Credit age, how long you've had a credit card, or how long you've had a credit profile. And the longer, the better. I know it's about 15%. It shows that you've been a reliable person over a long period of time. Hard inquiries is 10%. That is how many times people run your credit. and you want to keep that to a minimum as much as possible, then your credit mix is about 10%.
Okay.
Into those 5 things now is what they use as a point system to determine your credit score.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. That is a very good point. Well noted. I can be really comment. Otai say I just send money through startups and Otai. That's very good. Yeah, that's it. So at this point in the now, may expect to say, what question be also so far questions the brand. You made any money di you made no. We mama can you know we hosts also your listeners and the viewers. Minimum di you made to be sure what question be for question bra as we press along. In the Jumedian Yanche, you best always on temp into no, you're making sure say very, very fruitful and also no very, very perfect to make things happen. I'll say payment history no a bit creates about 35%, credit utilization 30%, credit age 50%. Credit age no Timobi must know your name.
And yeah, how long you've had credit?
Okay, 50%.
How long?
And hard inquiries 10% and a credit mix 10%. Right now that we've seen these 5 categories of credit categories now. Yeah, again, back to the question. Some people do have like a higher score number, but Okoka is a virgin credit. What is the difference between a virgin credit and Nasibia? I didn't that memo credit score of ABA 800. Now Obi credit score of 750. Now the panel me no koto the same thing. Maybe rate was rose in pan. What would be the reason for that?
It basically is the credit age impact now. So almost share somebody that has had credit for 15, 20 years. They can see say for the past 15, 20 years, you've been doing very well. You've been paying your bills, BBI, you're correct. Ebia, nipa na ne competing for the past year, and I start to say, omo keep track of their credit. And even though their credit score is high, no, they don't have enough history for the bank to rely on. Remember, bank
Credibility near low.
Yeah. So credibility, that's all the bank is looking at. Is this person credible? Can I trust this person with the money I'm giving them? So the reason why I stress on that is that when people begin to think from that perspective, it really helps you when you are packaging yourself to go for a loan. So prepare one understanding how Nipana Kojibosian or no, it helps you with that. Even sometimes information do how the more it can destroy you yourself. Ebi mo ha, on Kotina Banka, sima be catcher banka no. And no cry to me more who so nipa yentimi njiwundi. Into you have to understand at their bank, what are they looking for? What are they thinking? Into being able to understand say, bank no say sika na ode ma me no obetimi trust me say not scan back and I'll pay it on time because on our measure the risk and now of course me paying back now is how they make money and now bank is not interested in, especially mortgage bank. The bank is not a real estate agent. They are not interested in foreclosures. In fact, foreclosures cost banks way more than anything. They don't want to foreclose you. A lot of times, for a bank to take a person to foreclosure, they will do so many things to avoid it before they have to go that direction. To salvage Kakrebion Betimia salvage from the building. It is really important, say, you say it's in the bank interest not only to give you the money, but to also make sure say your credit is the number one way for them to they don't know you, they've not worked with you before, and they are just looking at numbers and they are determining how good you are as a person.
Nana, but obi be busa say I didn't know say ebia me very fresh, Yes, family starting from the lowest number. Na ebia because me wa ebia car pay wo me din mo no ana obi edi me ato fie so no me credit score at 800 but obi ono no wa boss system mo a cheda afi no wa bedu 750 ebia kukura hwe ase bi nti no was 600 no 500 afi no wa bedu 750 na ono no de ne mo richer than me 850 tika me de no me any bad history no I'm not going for me starting fee 500 na me working my way up.
No, but they are also looking at the possibility of how a beya omonsa beka or musika. So let me
No,
illustrate
I'm
it. Say
talking about the number because
the
some
number, yeah,
numbers are confusing for. Say, obi one ma 800 is what obekwa so oh they a virgin. Obi also 800 you see here need they very good. And you know, why starts a new person who has just started a credit history no? Why start the person on the 800 number? And I said, I someone make maybe I started fee 700, but because it said payment to the cost, so they could do 800. Why start that
yeah.
person on a higher number? I brought a bit started from the bottom, like obi
No,
I need
so
I say.
but because the credit system is a point system.
Okay.
And it's not like obi share. This point system is automated.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is sitting down there and doing this calculation. The credit bureaus now,
Mm-hmm.
they are dealing with over 300 million people in the United States. So
Mm-hmm.
they are using a point system. It's a machine. So the machine is taking factors.
Mm-hmm.
When the machine sees you say, okay, this person came in, they've never missed the payment. There's no payment missing um on their creditor. It's already giving you the highest score in the payment history portion. Even though it's only 6 months you've been on it now, the system is only looking at it as this person has never missed a payment. Your credit utilization, maybe you just received a credit card, so you haven't even bought anything with it. So it's marking it as 100%, like somebody that has never touched, their utilization is really high. The only thing that maybe will come down a little bit is credit age, but they will see very few hard inquiries, and then you have good mix of creditor. So all of the sudden you are scoring over 700 already because you check all the boxes except that you don't have a long history of credit.
Got
And
you.
you can still get over, but if you bring it to me as a bank, I could see, so the system is scoring you 700 because you check the boxes, but you've not been on the credit system for a long time. So it's easy to get there. So they are going to still hold their horses a little bit because they are like, you are new, that's why your score looks high. Let's wait and then let you be a little bit more experienced and see how good you do over time.
Okay. All right. You can read the comments from Facebook. Solomon A. Mensah or say, hi PK. When you pay off your collection, how long does it take to be removed permanently? Especially a special collection from tolls. Where they're not just in New York, New Jersey for no. You do tolls.
You know, my thing is collection. The moment you pay it off, let them write you a letter to prove that they've taken it off, and then send that letter to the credit bureau. Within a 30-day period, the credit bureau will have to respond, and then likely they will take it off for you. And
Okay.
get a letter, send a letter to the credit bureau to show say you've paid it off. And then when you write to the bureaus, normally they'll respond and take it off for you.
Okay.
And
All right.
it will
Go
go
ahead.
off as long as you take an action. If you don't take any action, then it will stay on there for longer.
Okay. So Nana and one year and you sharing if you so by why na Emma so
Mhm.
a chicha will see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There was, yeah. Well,
Oh,
when
there's
you get
another
there,
one. If there's another one, you can bring it back on.
no. So if we are done with the creditor, I wanted to move to the credit card
Before
because
you
I
become
wanted.
credit cards, babe, send me read the comments kakra was Zoom. I
Okay.
want to say,
Yes. Go ahead.
so I
Yeah.
want to say, why does inquiring about your CS credit score affect your credit score? Good question. Very good question. You pull your credit
Yeah.
score, you say, hey, so what kakra.
That is a good question for the credit bureaus who do the point system. But a part of the idea is people that are always going in and asking for loans,
Mm-hmm.
if you are getting multiple hits, that means you are taking multiple debts. And it's showing you said this person is always trying to look for a loan. And it shows a sign of desperation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so they that affects the way they look at you as a
Internet
Nipa
is always good. So open say be a okotofia or shop here around the same period.
the same
None
period,
of
30
that falling
days,
under the same hit.
and then it will be one hit for all of that. Yeah. And then if you are doing a car loan, so the same way. But if you keep applying for loans, then you become they begin to look at you like unstable. But here's a strategy. We are investor. if you invest in real estate where you keep buying homes, then work with one institution, because that institution, when you work with them, and now they don't even have to
Pull your
worry
credit.
about pulling your credit. That's how into, because even for me in my business, I only work with one bank. That's it, one bank pay. Because I've worked with them for a very long time. So you acquire any financial transaction with the bank, and they never pull my credit. They don't even touch it because they know you. They've seen the transactions. They see how you work, and so they don't. There are so many people. If you work with a bank or an institution for a very long time, they know you. They know how your account, your transactions are. So they work with you from a place of knowledge. Nti ɛnyɛ na mobile bɛ follow credit basa basa. And you would, so building a relationship, if you are in a business where you do real estate and you keep buying houses, or you buy and sell cars, or whatever you do, no, if it's a business, then try and work with one institution so they don't keep pulling your credit.
Okay. Veronica say, I have a 17-year-old son and I already have my credit card and I already have my credit card. Can I put him on it? Oh, okay.
Oh yes, absolutely. As early as one, you can put them on the card. Just put them as a they use a word for you. They have it, but they don't really use it. The only thing I always say is make sure you are not misusing that card, because if it's being misused, they will get hit.
Exactly.
They'll get affected too. But for the credit history, when you have your motors pay, that means that by the time they are ready to also start getting credit or buying a car or buying a house, they have the history showing that they have credit on their account. And like I said, this thing is a system, it's a machine. So they don't even know whether they are using it or not. It just shows that they have credit history. And so they get good score on the credit age at that point. So that helps them out a lot. So that is one thing I will highly encourage if you have kids and you want to establish them earlier. It's one way to be a blessing to your children.
Okay. And Benjamin Asare say, please, how do I get away hard inquiry from my credit score? Oh, how does he get it off his credit score? The hard way in inquiry, no.
Well, hard inquiries, they drop off after 2 years. But one strategy you can use is you can also write letter to all. If you annualcreditreport.com, I use this. It's one of my favorite things to do at the beginning of every year. Annualcreditreport.com. It's one way of getting free, detailed credit report. It doesn't give you a credit score, but it gives you a credit report of every single activity on your credit card and all the activities, the amount of detail, who did the inquiry, how long they did the inquiry, it shows you all the details. In this big credit or credit BBR, it will show you. It's annualcreditreport.com. When you call her, you can get a detailed report for all the 3 bureaus once a year. You get it once a year for free. What you can do is then you can write to all the credit inquiries. It shows up on your credit. When you write to them, they have exactly 30 days to respond. If they don't respond, you write to them and you send a copy of the letter to the credit bureaus. Most credit institutions will not respond because they don't have time. And that will give you the opportunity for them to drop those inquiries off of your credit just by writing to the institutions that are doing the hard inquiries now. So you write to the credit bureaus. All of them will have their addresses and everything. When you do the annual credit report, you say, hey, I had this inquiry and I don't know whatever. You just give it. There's so many. The sample. I can Google some of them for you. You don't even have to have a professional write it. Go to Google sample inquiry letter, sample credit inquiry letter. Right now with Google and Chat GPT, all of explanation letter, all of those things are available. And then you pull it up, just write it to the bureau and then send it. And then it would really come in handy, because if you have a lot of inquiries, you can get more than half of them off just by sending those letters to the bureaus. I really encourage those who have inquiries on their report, please do this, because it will take more than half of them away for you without even any effort. A stamp is 30 cents.
All right. Mawusi say, can I check my credit score without it dropping?
Oh yeah, there's so many. Credit Karma, all the banks have it now. Credit Karma, Experian has it. Most banks have free credit report where they track it. It's not a FICO score, but it tracks the FICO score, right? It's not a FICO score, but it tracks the FICO score. Into most of the time, the score they show you, it's very similar to what when you get a FICO report pull that it will show you. So
Okay.
there's so many platforms that will give you a free credit reporting, free score without it
Okay.
affecting your credit at all.
All right. Bridget said, I just got a credit from Bank of America. It's about a month now. How do I build it to get more scores? And I'll say, how many months will it take to get a higher scores? Because without it, I cannot rent for an apartment.
Yeah, well, it takes time. Like I said, credit history also plays a role, right? So if you think about it, if you just got it for a month, the goal is to keep using and keep paying it off, keep using and keep paying it off. The bank itself will be monitoring it, but it will also they report every month you pay off, they report it to the credit bureaus. So they will keep tracking the score for you. If it's just that's the only score you have, if that's the only card you have and you are really newer, then I would encourage you to maybe get another card, like a department store card or something. Maybe just two to start with. And then kakran you can work with that.
All right.
So you have two different credit cards reporting on your behalf.
Okay. Kofi Abeboawo with the word that you were looking for. Kofi said the word for adding the kids on is called authorized users.
Authorized users.
Yes.
Yes, you put them on as authorized users.
Users.
God bless you. Me person, yeah. Thank you.
Kofi. So in the baby be something different, okay? I'm gonna call upon me say Angela Manis also into Dr. Angela Kaseria. Now what we're gonna do is say before say Kaseria, we're gonna call upon Tatapsen to give us a quick update of what is going on within Tatapsen, because like I said, the rate just shot high. So Tatapsen may a quick update after Dr. Angela Dempsey. It was the question area, now what answer no. Then we're gonna call upon A class and I said Danny Obia available be and my the update for Tatapsen. Yeah, we are or my quick we are call back to how to apply for credit card and also use those credit cards, because that will be the second part of the topic now. Nana Kofi Nana Kowa ebe my mind. Angela Pajetio on me to home.
Thank you so much. Good evening. So I have a question. I wanted to say, so I put my son as an authorized user on my credit card. And of course, I got the new card in. Do I have to use his card in order for him to build that credit? Or do I, by me using my card, will allow him to still have his credit building?
That's good. No, using your card, because if he's an authorized user, then whenever they report on your card, they report on both credit. So just using your card has exactly the same impact as you using his card. So because it's all the same account, but it allows that account to report to two credits. So yours and your son's. So you don't even have to use his card. You can just store it somewhere and then just use yours. And that will still report on his.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now Derek saw the link be out to Zoom honum now. Basically what he's saying is that this should help Veronica a lot when it comes to question that Veronica Ebusaya into Veronica Misrao. Click on the link now, Derek Eddie Ato no for your son. Thanks Dr. Angela, so consider that as well. Kofi, I mean Nana, Michelle, do me a favor, follow information they too hard because people may have some personal consultation they want to consult you. It's for information they so too hard. And again, it's tax season. People would like to probably contact you for taxes, and they can do that. And also, people want to buy businesses, they can contact you for those businesses. Into Mr. Fatu Sumahoma, Mina, and for any other information. Now, yeah, we also saw Timmy Ediama Facebook for ne YouTube for so as well. It's Mr. Fatu Homami. Now we are testimony so WhatsApp or information the testimony WhatsApp as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Now maybe there are two Facebook name way so account YouTube one.
Okay. And then
all right. Into A class, Mr. My quick update. Now for the entire Jimmy so concerning Tatapsen. Nana, you share any face of my why? Yeah, but now they are total for credit card. No, yeah, that's it. Florence, a class you pay the question about to you, my wife. A class, no, they're Danny. When my quick update for startup send. Okay. You better proceed with the program now. Yeah, come back to it. Now, yeah, Florence, it was a question. Is it appropriate to pay off all the amount you owe on your credit card every month? Now, if you call to the second part.
I would say to that, there's no harm in paying all of it, but the requirement is that anything ODK. So if you owe less than 25, if you have less than 25% of it, utilize that. It's still considered almost like fully paid. So they into tier or $1,000 limit. Now tier 750 we use only 250 of it. Now me $1,000 limit. Now me used to be crana. Now me you fully paid off. We are considered almost the same. It gives us the same point, maximum point. Because it's that 75% mark, no.
So that's
Is
the
the
DTI,
utility.
though, right?
Yeah, until you only have to really worry about making sure it's the 70 and it's under 75%, meaning you've only used less than 25% of the or credit line they've offered to you.
That's good. Because I know said they look at the debt to income ratio, whenever they're doing your math for even joining the military crowd, your police credit score. And that's with DTI over 40%. That means you have to get a financial waiver because they feel you're not financially credible enough to.
And no, yeah, they use that to determine the amount of. I always say that I think I mentioned the last time. There's two parts to it. The credit score, no, just tells them the interest rate. Debt to income ratio, no, gives them an idea of how much credit they can offer to you. Debt to income gives them an idea of the amount of money you can get from them as a bank. And then the score, no, tells them the rate that they charge you. And if your debt to income is high, then you begin to get disqualified. So you can have an 800, you can have 850, which is the highest you can get. You can have an 850 credit score. But if your debt to income is really bad, they can't give you anything because it's telling them, say, even though your score is 850 now, you have so much debt in your name that your income is not enough to pay for the new debt that you are asking us for. So yes, you qualify because your credit is good, but we can't give you any money because there's no room on your income to pay off the debt that is in your name. And they use that the way I'm measure, they look at the minimum payment on the card. And over so income here 5,000 a month. They look at the minimum payment on all your credit card. They look at your mortgage/rent, whichever one you are paying for. They look at your auto loan and all of that. They want all of that to stay under 40%. That is, any student loan payment, we make it 5,000 a month. If album now is around 6,000-7,000, that's I'm sorry, it's around 3,000-4,000. That's 70% to 80%. If album now is like 1,500, that is 30%. It's under 40%. Until then, they will be like, okay, you still have room to pay for this loan or this mortgage you are asking us for. But depending on where you fall on the DTI scale, no, it will let them know. And almost added the new loan on Mademano to the calculation. In terms of adding new loan, and now you are still under 40%, and then they can say, oh, say the loan will cram the amount of 100,000 you will still be able to pay off because it's still less than 40% of your income. You are good to go. But the loan amount, never mind debt to income, across 60%, then they don't want to give it to you because they feel like Ebema watch you, ebe tight. So they don't want to give you the money. So they will give you as much as it will not bring your debt to income over 40%.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want, I would think so, if it's confusing, I can go over it one more time if anybody has did and further more questions on that. But debt to income is very important to know how much money you qualify for based on what you're applying for.
All right. It I say. Okay, so you remember that send for my your friend a quick update now. I feel the yeah, to Jimmy. So quick update from Tata Send concerning any good news they have right now. Now you to Jimmy. So it was for me that was some share link the monko and share especially Zoom link no mamu busia for no mo so mbra be some questions and then you better answer questions and you say sorry Jimmy. So I want me say you better try say be point him but months here, not just ya crampa and guess what so nice what's a couple man when you know we're gonna go every far and length to make sure so we'll be at us here. A class, Mr. ATO.
Was for your mamuna, good evening. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending baby crowd where then ocean so. Yeah, make sure PK any HRTV for giving us this opportunity and so. And then me by good and bonny said the net man PK casa first, Our can go pound down my tata send at your mobile system no aba. Na nche bia so nyame ya aduma ebeba US nso nti no wa abusuafo bia omo UK bia no ba so mo mane so mo activate omo wallet no now once you activate it and you are able to fund it 50 Ghana cedis or more bia no yeah so tap sense for so the 50 Ghana cedis ever ka o wallet no amount if you na go see the end of next month in the next and yes, any Canada so said that Mohu and also so and then so rates and so aqua come pa and the best what have ya and Bomodia so wait to me I had the Asenska Akufi take advantage of this time then the Asenska enjoy the best of ratings so why about what you it is some radio a crack meet me I can for startups and updates. So I don't know. Chebe says, young Koswa, you believe in startups and they are more now for more money. Almost more with some money. No make up with a case crew and they am I and that's a PK. I shot my Sunday. Wow.
All right. A class, that's it, baby. Ebusia for that mess also come say startups and other man energy to media brabo. A continue to the say time with startups and I saw your select here. I made typical for your brabo. Before say we go through no, a biome my friend first commercial on any live into now. Fina yeah, call live. So we're gonna start it do it again quick. I see about now Akowa the information about my whilst I'm doing this 5 seconds of your time, I mean 5 minutes, 2 minutes or 30 seconds of your time, no? Be sure keep sharing the link to your friends, your loved ones, and your family for them to get this information right here on HITV. Me kamo say feel good Adarima, na feel good service Adarima, any day you may day abramo. For metra kwan or feel good services at gmail.com. So when it comes to mental health, and as I do more pomodene, and as I do more Arabia, Sambia, feel good services, and become from my only webusia for any no. Ebion feel good say or messy nice apartments or East Legon Hills, Anna Pokwasi, and to sell baby would do Tibeto, now I do home kama, to say, yeah, boy, I do mum apomodeno, now your honum so apomodeno, and one yegusu edi honjumediano. Bra nebe pay baby fire Airbnb and I say pay some more customize or dime out crampona or met my yama kama. As I see na apartment and I say be apartment kind of person auto and I say be or rent and I say Airbnb or met my yama kama. Omo number no any good video so no 513-372-5758 and your USA number no Ghana number near +233-208-149-540 and I say contact me on email. The same email na feelgoodservices@gmail.com. Ebiom, Mesa Aka will say Happy Glow GH, Ewa Ashoman Estate, right opposite Veggies and Grill. Caught na koyo pedicure, no manicure, Oye Bema now who chuma misro, Konako Yebu, and man quite a pedicure ni manicure. In the man now why they didn't say some people, but sorry, not a chichu now as a mojano, and yes, of course you and a gumpano, so a wow nine a chichu now, Manakobasa, and Fanko chichu be baba now. Into Mr. Kodakoya now, when Yakabakaba, more and I win anon, Nabibia and Koso Kama. and I say be a beauty supplies emano and I'm pa obetima to beauty supplies so wo ham na kama omo number dey plus 233 594 710391. Oswald Wellness Clinic ewo Maryland, Esasu, Ohio, or say open family nurse practitioner, IV hydration, primary care, and that's a weight management, or beyond the weight and how to manage it. Bra nominal din komo na bibia enye kama. Or more number near 513-268-2740 from Monafide Bibia Enkoso 13. Ebiom, so open say when you a lot of issues with finances, and I say bia open say o building or financial status and our financial wealth, generational wealth, will chroman say ya. Onipa me kan fona ma ye ba Millicent na bibia aye kama Millicent say or your licensed financial professional na or no or boaman for creative generational wealth, flexible work from home business, avoiding GoFundMe in your community, income protection, college fund for your family and your especially your kids, and setting up financial freedom. Or some great financial plans and as a life insurance plans be one ma the answer so be asha eye kama into Bisrael say open say and as a make for ama say contact your monafi the any more just listen to what she has to offer. Now say if it's in your line of goal now go ahead and pursue it. If it's not, you don't have to push it. But I'm telling you, like some great stuff they have to offer. Me myself, Nangasano, but do want to dance here. Number here 937-321-2270. Mrs. Subium 937-321-2270. And I said 937-270-9882. Millicent Adam Baker for say fighting financial ignorance in America. Sabre, Tatap send, and make alpha bound with Bushia for Ebiom A class of the beautiful update of Tatap. So, like I said, right before the show, the rate jumped from 12:31 to 12:35. Take great advantage of this opportunity. Neko download the app. It's fast, it's secured, it's also reliable. Security measures a woman no. A doctor ankasa I say sana sradie adone nentwie no na se prekodo no. Call neko download the app. We have a promo code nation. Promo code no HRE. And I say, betimi the PK P-KAY Ashim. O download the first transaction, we $15. Our first transaction. Now we do say this kakoma adofo ne busu afo nyina. We no so afale tax kakra abehya ho. Joe said this kako fi koba busu afo. Ya da say, sabre ye be hand over amanana akowa da afedie ya told me so na bibia aye kama. Questions no bebre na about ye be we dey nyina aso so amamo. Mr. Opesa okasa fa reaction button neto so na afi de wakasa and I say ye bie phone we na ye bie zoom line na wetimi so mute wo ho da wa akasa nana mama fa questions dey be into ma na ewia ya afi de ya call when so ya call credit card details so Doris say I have never acquired and used the credit card, so where do I start? I think I don't know better into your presentation for credit card, right? To Doris.
Not necessarily. I think so.
It took answer real quick.
Yeah, okay. Real quick because the other one will focus on managing. But to get your first credit card, I'll say always start with the bank you work with, especially if you have a credit union. Most credit unions have what they call secured credit. Actually, that's how I started. Me was school, no. And I made $500 got to one of my $500 credit card. That's how I started off, secured credit. And then me using it after 1 year, and I'm more than $500 money. And then it became a full credit card. And then, it built on from there. But you can start with what they call secured credit. That means, why would you seek out to and our credit card now we're using it as a credit card. But the Sikana the one is to secure the bank because only say only credit. Until that will let them know so okay, say maybe crazy I will seek and announce the ATK until give them the confidence to give you the money. But Enono can give you the opportunity to start off right.
Okay. Mawusi, if you have a student loan and you are not paying, does that affect your credit?
If you have minimum payments, you are not paying, yes. But it depends. There's income-driven payment plan. There's so many different forms of way, and it depends on what kind of loan. Is it private student loan? Is it public, the one with the federal government? It's depending on the type of loan you have, what the requirements are. But whatever it is, you want to be making sure, say, your minimum payments are being met. And I'll go over that in details when I talk about credit management.
Okay. Otaibo media, CPK, please check your WhatsApp. Otaibo me by your audio to me your life. It's the bit about testimony me I can come out. Say if you want me to say it out loud and say personal associate after the show now, I'll do check it out. Bridget say, why do you always start with UK without other countries? I was on Zoom on Friday and want to use my wallet, but there was nothing like that. I think this question was for A class concerning the wallet system. So why do you always start with? And I can answer that easily. UK is where the whole startup center started off from. It's a course of BBI come and the replica the same procedure US, Canada, and other parts of Europe. Let's say starting for UK and about the other part of Europe, and about US and Canada. Into almost that year, they want to always start the pilot system over there to make sure everything is good. Then they can spread it out. Again, another reason is that US, your laws need to be restricted in your money be also here, and sometimes it takes some time for everything to go through into Bibiabe go through now so the same benefits white Bridget Benjamin said, I never received any activation bonus ever since I started using TartupSend. How do I receive it? You were supposed to apply the promo code down the boss to see how they say PK no P-KAY. So who apply promo code no before you send money, you're gonna get that $15. Who send this we now call the promo code Koshema Emfa. Internet Benjamin when you're on team now will be introduce you to it and you should have used it apply a promo code before getting that $15 bonus. Shadrach Afo Mensa or say please, is there any promo bonus on Startup for those of us participating in this Zoom meeting. And Shada, what a beautiful question. A class, well, the question here, what you mean to be Niano. Here we are, you know, Nanako where we are. Men call A class the answer, but whether it's yes or no, and not in the future, I bet you will be one of those answers. Florence is saying, how many kids can you add as authorized user on your credit card? Nana, we have a question.
Oh, it's as many as depending on the card would allow you to. Different cards have different restrictions. Even if you are using some card like American Express, you can put as many as possible. It depends on what card. So those are American Express even has so many different cards and so many tiers. So what I'll say is it depends on the card you are using and their restrictions. You know, Capital One is a good one for if you're trying to put a lot of family on the Capital One is a good one. And so there's no one way to answer that question. It depends on the card.
All right. At this point, check your Facebook. So if you did Facebook and Nana, the floor will be yours to proceed in giving us the updates. I think say now comments back on. Or say he said hard inquiry normally takes off 2 years. Okay, that was Solomon, no, or are they up to what you said with the hard inquiry? Nana, Mr. Fire credit card management.
Okay, so this part is just I have an opportunity to do a lot of financial planning and financial management with people. And this is one of the questions that I get asked the most. And so I want to take time to really go over it with people. Whenever I do financial planning with clients that come to me now, a lot of them, they come to me, they have so many credit cards, and it's like they are getting overwhelmed with the credit card and how to really build and get out of it. And to be able to manage a credit card, the first thing I do is I always create a spreadsheet, an Excel sheet. And then, so this is an example. I list every single card. If you want to do it, you can do it even on a paper, however you want to do it. Card BR on one. Then I also put the date, the date, the date of the minimum payment, and then the reporting date. And this is the difference between these two. The minimum payment date is the last day you can pay the minimum payment before it's late. But that is not the day they report it to the bureaus. Most of the time, they wait a day or two until these are actual dates from a sample card that I pull. Into, for example, Capital One, if you have a Capital One that the minimum payment date is the 16th, the reporting date is actually, it's going to be the 21st. All of these are like I took actual samples just to do this so that you can have an idea of what a real situation for credit card management is. And then when I do this, the second thing I do is that I arrange it from the smallest to the largest. Into Capital One, Omama limit 1,500. American Express, Omama limit 3,100. And then they have another Capital One for 4,250. And then they have a department store card for 9,500. Okay, so that's very interesting. So, and then they all have interest rate. Okay, the interest rate, this is how it works. Credit cards always have very high interest rates. That's something you have to be aware. Their interest rates are really, really high. But because they charge the interest monthly, it may look small, but if you look at it over a year period, it's going to be very expensive. Every month, the Capital One, the reporting date is on the 16th. The minimum payment date is on the 16th. They report it on the 21st. The interest rate is 24.74. So the card will charge interest based on the limit, which is $30.93. Into this $30.93, Utia said if anything happens and you pay them the $30.93, that whole amount, is just interest. It doesn't touch the principal. A lot of times, people say we will have minimum payments. It's about $40. I had to come up with my own minimum payment because these are cards that I pulled up, so I didn't have the full data. And I just used their cost of debt, to really measure the minimum payment, what they may be. Into we say, minimum payment is about $40, it will be about 70. And if you pay them $40, only $9.07 will go to reduce a kind of also no. They are can interest payment. So we take American Express now, and also the same thing. If you pay the minimum payment of $70, $63 of it, interest. They are can the only $7 will go to reduce a kana or credit card nankasa so. So that's the first thing you do. But the situation most people find themselves in is so many people get to a place where almost so many credit cards, they don't know how to manage it. And then it's becoming overwhelming. The first thing you do is put it all down, file statement, and then write all of these details. You are looking for the minimum payment date, the reporting date, our statement. So the interest rate, the limit, and the cost of the debt. Don't worry about cost of debt. We may not calculate a cost. And the percent the church and you may be asking. When you have information where you are, then you arrange it from the smallest to the largest. That's the second thing. Then the third thing I've been say, build a budget, and this is so important, or family budget, Then you decide, say, okay, maybe as a family, based on my budget, I can put $500 towards paying credit cards. Into me my budget, Busumi be maybe $500 towards it. This $500 will go towards paying off the credit cards. That's what I always tell them. Your money, if you make up that $500 number now, the first step we'll do is say we'll go on all the accounts. We go to the Capital One, the American Express, the store card. We'll go on all the accounts and set the minimum payment to auto pay. We will set all the minimum payments to auto pay. Into Capital One every month, they automatically will take their $40. American Express every month will automatically take their $70. Auto pay, normally I set it a day or two before the minimum payment date. So normally a day or two. So it will clear before the when that is done now, the advantage of that is you would never miss a payment. Into your credit payment history, this payment history would always be perfect because you are paying the minimum at all times. So your payment history you would never miss. It will be perfect at all times. That will be your first step. Okay. So we focus on paying the minimum payment, putting it to auto pay. Ocean budget now, we said we were putting aside $500. All the minimum payments come up to $410. Okay, that means that you were extra $90 that we can put to the credit card. Then we'll put the $90 extra to pay off the smallest credit card first. Because I know now you the quickest. Into Busumi Bi, and we'll take that extra $90 and put it on the first Capital One card. Sorry. We'll put it on the first Capital One card. All the way till set $369 when will be fully paid. By the time a bit here, $369, now $40 will be gone. Then we'll go to the next one. But by that time, instead of having 90, now we have the 90 plus the 49 Editia first card because that card has been paid off. Into that 90, that will give us another $130 after we pay all the minimum payments. Now you will put that $130 onto the second one, which is the American Express. Yeah, the buyers are on to American Express in a way. That will release more money. They call it the snowball method. Into Uchiaba could be a free one. Now the scanner we will live in now they are go the next one. So Uchianu and we now they are go the next one. So within a short period of time, the more you do that, the more money you have towards card. Within a very short time, most of you are in a very healthy place. But in that system, the good thing is you will never miss a payment because credit, the minimum payment auto pay data. Those ones they are being paid automatically. So you are never in a place where over falling behind. But then the rest will take care of itself as you apply the payment. And then you've set a fixed amount and what budget you are comfortable doing until you use that, and then you use that towards the obetimi aye. And it gives you, and then it's it's very simple, but it gives you room to actually manage the cards and never fall behind. And then through that process, so it would also help your credit stand very strong through the whole process because you are not missing payments. What people do is say, because they don't have things written down, they just eba now we are from anometia. You're from Tibon's also so but you're not really making any progress because you're not tracking what you are doing. And that can create a lot of problems. So the snowball method now is one that I really, really wanted to go over. Until you pay the minimum payment on time, you set it to auto pay. Don't even try to do it by yourself. Okay, set it to auto pay. Or counter, or the $500, to mana bibisa, na atie free automatically, so you don't have to even think twice about it. Not extra, no, would you tear the smallest one off? Then you build on that. If you keep at it within a year or two, all your credit cards will be gone and you'll be at a good place to really now manage and plan it better. So that's one of the things I really wanted to go over with everyone. And so I talked about setting up the auto pay. Also, you can use calendar reminders depending on the type of person you are. Me, I use my calendar a lot. Maybe I'm the calendar. So if you are somebody that you can do that, so that ebedru payment data, ubetimi akai na wakotia, and then always put it a day or two be on your calendar. So you'll be reminded to go on there and put it. We talk about creating a budget. So even say if you don't use a budget, just allocate a certain amount of money that you can use to pay off the card. That's really important. It is all your only budget. I only say, but see me be our base 600. I would treat your credit card off. Then the whole I say or rent and other things now utiano. Who is KBR? But see me be added audit your credit card, and then you keep it aside. So you have a specific amount to do, and then as you pay them off, monitor your credit card. And if you want a simple tool to monitor the credit card, you can use Rocket. There's this app called Rocket app, and I forgot I think it's the Rocket app. And even a lot of the financial institutions also have it, because what is happening is that so many people, as they pay off the card, then you maybe sign up for refuel, and then it keeps eating up the account. As you are who fill a bucket, as you need to, and then the water keeps drilling down until you are never making any progress. So you want to look at every expenses that is coming out, so you can begin to either cancel them, close them, or move them away from the credit card, so you can focus and clean them out. Into monitoring is so important. You want to track every spending that comes through, and you have to do it at least once a month. If you're in a space where you want to start managing your credit card really well, once a month is not bad. And there's so many apps, mint.com, there's the Rocket app, the Rocket Money app, there's Mint, Chase has a credit tracking app, Bank of America has it. All these companies, they have different systems that you can use. Even Credit Karma has a tracking app where they can track your monthly expenses and tell you all the charges that are coming through your credit card. And then, of course, we talk about paying the minimum and then using the extra money to pay off the other minimum fast, but put all of them on auto payment. Okay. And then you can use alerts where if there's any expense on the card, it can alert your cell phone. So person will stop, you have a card, you are focusing on cleaning it out, and it's giving you problems. Capital One, American, almost where whenever there's a charge on the card, they will send you an alert. So and then you can begin to stop those things. And then of course, we talk about prioritizing payments. One thing I want to spend a little bit time on is communicating with creditors. Yeah, sometimes we underestimate the power of communication. Just calling your creditors to let them know. Say, I've had a client, they had quite a lot of struggle with, their card, and then we called one of their credit cards and we froze it. So move freeze card now. It did two things for them. There were so many charges and about through they had even forgotten. But move freeze that means they are not allowing any charges to come through anymore. Until all those people know automatically their stuff started to bounce because we're freezy card now. And then they called them and then they negotiated the rates from 20 something percent to in the teens because they says, okay, me you see card be me tier free without you ever reporting anything negative on my credit. And then by communicating, they were able to do that for them. They paid it off. And then if you are somebody that you struggle with management, just keep 2 cards. Don't do more than 2. And that's what I advise my clients almost struggle with that. Just take everything, I'll pay all of them or freeze all of them and only keep 2 so that you know exactly what is coming out and what is going in. So you'll be out here very good with managing and then you can maybe do more than 2. But if you struggle with it, it's a discipline thing. You're busy. You don't have time to be doing all of these numbers. Just keep 2 so that you have 2 different mixes of credit card. Maybe a simple bank credit card and then let's say a department store card or a travel card, depending on which one benefits your lifestyle. Then you keep those 2 and then you keep going. Oh yeah, definitely avoid. Most credit cards have cash advances where you can take cash from the credit card, but cash advances, they are much higher in interest, and they are really bad. So do not use your credit card for cash advances if you can avoid it, because they are much higher interest. I don't even recommend that at all. If you need cash, go and get a cash loan. Don't do the cash advances on the credit card, because the cash loan maybe I would tier 10-12%. Cash advance on a credit card is about 30-40%. So it's really expensive. Don't even do that. Intend a cash loan. And then emergency fund. I think that's self-explanatory. Always depend on where you are financially, have at least, they call it 0 to 3 months of your expenses saved. If you can do that, that should be your goal at all times, 0 to 3 months of your expenses. Anytime you have an emergency fund saved now, it's so easy to do all of these other management things. So in a nutshell, that's what I really wanted to go over with the managing of your credit card, because I find that a lot of people struggle with that part. And it's just a discipline thing and consistency. With discipline and consistency, you're able to really get to a place where you feel very strong about how you manage the cards. But your goal is reduce the number of cards so it's easy to manage them, and then create a system and then let the system manage the payments for you. Any questions?
All right. Questions kakra wo hono. My minister te MV be the message by Comfort. I gave my statement to support a student friend who is going for a loan from a credit card company. What are the precautions? No, so what are the I think she meant to say what are the precautions, not precautions. But what are the precautions? I think that's what she meant to ask. Like, is there any consequence to it?
Yeah, so I need to clarify. Are you why am I losing all my words today? You can authorize, you can be on as an authorized, you are helping the person, co-signer. That's the word I'm looking for. Are you co-signing the credit card? If you're co-signing the credit card, this is what it means. That means that you as the co-signer are as much liable. You are as much liable for any debt on the card as the person using the card. The only difference is even though you are co-signing, you don't have access to the card. When you are co-signing a card, you are telling the financial institution, they say, this person is coming to you to get a credit card. On your credible enough, because maybe on start also whatever the thing is. To make them credibility be tiny cheap. The mumfa sika ne ma no. So when tia mumra me ho mejiska no. Until you are just putting yourself in the place to assume the debt for the person, but you don't have any legal access to how the person uses the money. Until co-signing, is good, say you can help build it, but co-signing is a very different ball game. You have to be very careful with it at all times. And I
Okay.
say, all the co-signing will be to buy a car, and I be my best recommendation is have the resources to pay off that if the person refuses to pay. It's kind of tool because you don't want because they will come after you. So you have to have the resources to pay. And then yes, I will just create stress for you.
So I did a very delicate situation. See, I'm going to talk about this. I'm messing up.
No. Yeah, so it's a very
Mutuminka na.
Pacho,
Mutuminka.
yes, Pajan.
Pacho me disua ne kɔ fam kakra nti mentumi ntest mu nti na ma opinion sɛ me ne mo bɛkasa.
okay, but Pacho, hold on, let me read the way real quick. Why that bring by Sister Beatrice. Shadrach say message about Shadrach say HRTV, I have to leave. This information is highly valuable, but unfortunately I have to leave. You mentioned a YouTube channel. Okay. All right, very good. Mr. Ramo, whilst in your Beatrice Casano, Shadrach, that's a sound bite. Thank you so much for coming. If this is your first time, please come again. But just like producer kind, whilst in your Beatrice Casano, why and then first time over joining yeah for this year. What we do is say we always come up with something highly educative and also very informative for you guys to know what's going on. What over any topic be our treaty, please type it in the on the Zoom chat, and I said me the number bet to Zoom chat on WhatsApp me any topic that you want to be want us to treat. Also, your Zoom your Zoom platform, WhatsApp platform, you also we discuss topics and everything over there. I'll add it to the WhatsApp platform. You become part of the HRTV family now as well. And now wow, unya notification from app no Tata 7 app no Mr. type one man say hona unya notification now be kan ya there. Say if unya from regular flyer and so just let us know say regular flyer no now unya. And I'm talking about the new more mobile new in there. No. And now if you old members in the crowd so unya notification from the app so let us know because we want to see that collaborative aspect with any startup center no and how it going to Sister Beatrice in take over why. O question.
No, me so and the main can we answer and then kwa na me ba ni ko nya mo tap sent mo.
App this no here and that's Facebook. Okay, app this okay, yeah that's it. Yeah that's it.
Yo.
And it's a brebium. And yeah kwa.
Me question I mean wo de ba ko na or credit card de no so ba.
Na ko
tap de no. Me say this kapa so
me ba o tap de ne de yenyen wie yo se na ko wie na so kwa nya ka nya be tap send for be take over the show and every question be what tap send be be answer until we wie na nche be ka ye be wie na ko wa de until the busa na de why Mr.
Okay any na nampa so e ba ma opa me ni mo ngoma papa until me kwaje traveling credit card bi na aye ka eda me so na me sanya me tua na sanya wo kire se ye kakra bi na kwati magine so na ya tini nyina de atua interest na wo ka bi se ye betumi ya freeze no if say me mfanya hwe so bosumi bia am de ma set auto pay na wo ka no enso bosumi bia sikara matua de na se me frɛ no mo so say no interest no ya tikase tikitua bi na de ti mayine so nte say me den na matumi a freeze sa ayi a wo ka no na omo to atimase na omo mame loan kura na me mfa ntua bi say me gi ya che say na be ya interest no kura be ye ketua no isa say me brofo no mo papa nti no me no omo ka omo ntimase nti me pa cho kwa ben so na obetumi aboa me odo number be ma me ana na ma frɛ wa na wa boa me.
Okay. Yeah, that is fine. But if you make me follow up, they say number one, depend on the amount of the cost. So, who fear one because I want and also rent it.
Me rent it.
Okay. Alright. Because the reason why I'm a question for so normally we will fear the cheapest loan mostly loan are never from pano mostly a mortgage. Inti obu ha or kabisa na you to me a yi sika kakra free mortgage now the I said yeah interest now or mortgage interest a much less. Not just half a year. And yeah, sometimes who get it into a place I want you, but only be visa that's fine. The second way I've any say freezing normally off card be depend on the type of card no. Meaning say American Express or say Visa or from but almost say or more any financial relief program.
Financial relief program.
Financial relief program normally do ha or call mu juma sem nti omo credit card be omo obi bisa o maka so okay so obi bisa no ye be freeze ne aye no permanent ye no te say loan nti wo de card ye bad ye be ye financial relief program no na ye freeze card na ya mo tua ye ka but ye be ti interest ne so na just we tua ye kakra but wo tua we a lot of times no wo tua we no magic card no but good because enko any collections on your mocha wait if you're not want to and that will be the question I'll ask them more friend of a financial relief program most credit cards no more bibisa for more de bia nitia no or make me do why bibisa na because also they have an interest in sell who bet your music mom because they would rather take something from you than have nothing at all.
Okay.
Indeed, that helps.
Nana yada say. Comfort to say the bank statement no you see Auntie Beatrice you see that was a no question no. Comfort to say the bank statement no use it to support it down for them. Is that safe?
Yeah, bank statement, it's nothing that has to do with your credit.
Okay.
Because our bank statement normally your credit is tied to your social security.
It's more of like affidavit of support, right?
So it won't be tied to your social security number. Your credit is tracked by your social security number. And if something you give without your social security number, normally it won't impact your credit.
Okay.
Yes.
And Obi so they Mausi say, is it advisable to pay off a credit card and cancel it? I think so when you cancel it now, it puts a little dent on you, right?
No, when you cancel it, it has a dent. It has potential to affect you, Accra. But the truth is, the impact is not anywhere close to say Uber collections and IBVisa.
Okay.
So if the management of it, how pay it off and cut it up, they don't use it. What I was saying is,
but and I heard you say when you so it be falling off.
Falling off is better, but the impact is not as bad. Because you still have others one you use at least on your mocha.
Okay.
Yes, the way the consumer system you have to be very calculated, right, in how you plan. Until you are better off paying it off, putting it away, closing it, not arguing. Now and no folly of that's fine. The impact is not as bad as say Uber using acquire Canada ho. Normal collections. I would go for that.
Time into the maybe be a quick I'm say Florence to say does paying all your all the amount you own on the credit card every month still attract interest?
No, if an offer, no. If it's paid off before it won't attract any interest.
Okay.
There's two people with their hands up on there too.
Me who Rosina the bar first. Me from Rosina set up in the audio. We are my friend Lady Smart. Lady if that was say Fred Quarten that was say from the app. So as soon as Cecilia Mankwa got it from the email no Onunya from the email. Becky so say from Tata say no app no. And I Comfort to say email. And Florence to say got a notification from the Tata app. Today's my first time. Mo first time say every week. Week ni one day pay 2 hours Rosina, Mr. What do you know fix say? Bet me on mute on after the workers. So we are not Lady Smart. Lady Smart, yeah.
Pacho you. Pacho mi cheche mo nyina ni dwuma pa.
Okay.
Body we
And me bow. Ladies party we are na wa wrap up near upon why.
me bacho.
Okay. Rosina Yanko.
Yo. Me bacho me question no e credit card. Mo credit card no credit one back. And American Express back.
You mean Capital One and not Credit One?
Credit one as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Now minimum credit one minimum payment near $35, but me $100. And Express and so no. The minimum premium 29, but me $100 every month. But you know, and yes, just one I say, and no, but you bet me a chase me mukaka.
Also, credit one, a minimum payment near saying
$35, but me $100 every month.
okay.
And Express and so 29, but me $100 every month.
Okay. Into basically what the AN said, utia sa extra one no a cocotia card net down. Right? Into my member saw card no over tier few or answer utia no use still.
Me use something me pese. Me imagine say me chiana I guess I can't anchor doors. Na at a kind of swammy.
Okay, and the 100 no will only make an impact. Say utia 100 now you see 150. It's still like canon now because in the original amount I'll use no pusumi bia. So still I'll use what that's fine. But who use no me person say because of who use card now will say tiano. Said you who use no doors to change the who tia I can still like build it. In the original
me can use regularly, sir.
okay.
Me use
okay. Who use the so tia 100 now the to say the 35 no. So $65 now was no. A bekwa ko chia e kan e beti kan so.
Okay.
And then na begina interest rate na so interest rate no be ebe me hu amount of interest on be charge no bosumi bia. And omo the statement ne mawa. Statement no so no omo kan sika dodo e ko interest na sika dodo e tie kan so. You be hu yes.
Me sure me mom some so na me ma be ba ko kan sa adisua na wo fam kakra nti me de rate me wadwuma na me tua nti me de an wo de statement ne ba kra me du kra me maintain punhwe.
Okay. The me can say opa utua menu su. Said ya obe hu say okay ade na so ti ankasa.
So ti
to when you so omo de bro this month and wa share balance na say your balance near 1,500. Utia 100 maybe next month now be 1,470. Just so $70. You will say the sote. Now we share ye because so we say you so then it won't mean monitor we are also you now who say whether you are making progress or not.
But me person be say me tua no more than me minimum we no e boa me anase e moa me.
E boa pa.
E boa me yo.
Me pa try.
Yeah, I'm me that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Lady Smart.
Yeah, thank you, PK. Quick question. Kwame Mpacho, I think so can be before your credit na your DM matter so no. Me mato me credit card ne so because me person me build it, but omo amusa omo social omo G omo dini omo age okay for it and because I was thinking say so me busa lady inside then on you omo social say for case no in here me do matter so no right. I just want to know say
that is unusual. Honestly, this is my first time I meet TV visa because the my the social security account in TV visa that like I said for credit a track social security number a dini age ne a dint medias normally for social security number ne will chroma say that's a 110 or BNB a unkwana kuta number now. That's how they track your it's something I'm into. It's my first time.
Maybe maybe because of say a better if say possible say because of say I crown the war I crown the war bank West Fargo but I crown the war bank account. It's you know a be a better my possible say because of say I crown the war account war mu what no anything no one
yeah, that means that they have it already.
Yeah, oh, okay. Okay.
But I was thinking say ABI that one that a crowd bet me use card no, but affected the negative or positively. It's a card the koto dia yan can say be alcoholic card because at the end of the day no other card and so bet me use. But not necessarily say a
No,
one
but
credit.
Yeah, we're not sure here for the
me for
credit.
that for credits.
Oh,
Me
okay.
me credit card na bank na me omo credit card na me see me person me de me money to so
Okay.
for so mo build it. But in kwana so wa account was our bank on and the lady look at me say, oh here to verify omo dinu omo date of birth.
Okay.
Now say oh here social no say no, they don't need it. Until
Okay.
no I say my a little bit confused Sabia.
Matthias here.
Yeah, that
Naomi.
I can almost guarantee say they have it already.
Okay.
They are just confirming that it's the right people.
Okay.
They will have that already, which is good.
Okay.
Now where there Naomi man is say be fan Naomi na for there ya wa wrap up na sorry media so why near the time na kana tap up send because we got 4 questions Emma tap send pa. Naomi Michelle yeah the quick mind why?
Oh, we de michia mu nyina.
Yeah Joso.
Asem na mo kan credit no one say ayesa land America nko a. Me smo Germany. Enti bese me bisa say enti ni nyina de say mana say esom ho de som ha de.
Where the deal.
Germany, me honestly minimum financial system.
Almost system might be different.
It might be different.
Because any mo come de credit no card we card me and send me keka ho. No could obviously I wonder why.
Okay. All right. I think so Germany there no UK phone can pick it up and just talk about it on the UK show on Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday, me the best for no
I could come so but can so what what I'm saying. Now person who have Europe so there so there. Yeah that's it. All right. Nana, Mr. wrap it up on mine after the your media and see that was it.
Okay. Well, my final comment here. I just want to let people know. I think we are still in the middle of the tax season. My business now doing the Tri-City business. And our website now or tricitybusinessmi.com. And for Obia personally, for taxes, no qua. I will just show you. It's a very simple process. Into call tricitybusinessmi.com. You just click on get started. Or click on get started. And then the forms, I'll fill the forms now. My team will reach out to you. We'll fill the forms now. We'll go through. My team will reach out to you, and then we will take you through the process. It's very simple. And we do taxes all 50 states within the US. And into the website is tricitybusinessmi.com. And also contact here, so you can go to the contact page and then fill out information. It will come straight to us, and then we'll be able to respond. We have a team of admins that they are very good at reaching back out. We'll be minimum schedule time to talk about any tax questions or any finance questions out there. We provide full financial services, and then it'll be a business loan if you are looking for mortgage, anything, any financial kind of financial advice you need, especially when it relates to business. You can always come to us, and we'll be happy to help. And then if you have any further questions and so on, it's just a PK can share with you how you can get in touch with us. So that's tricitybusinessmi.com, where that's where all the information is. Thank you very much.
Nana ya that's it. Nyame shra say you tun safra wo nya adaje eba ye. O de abrande dan da nya no no ne yen ebedi dwumede ma ne ye kama. Minim say this year nkwa about 3 times. And this is not the end. You better from obium in repebu. I'm waba. Ebusuafo nyame boa next week. Topic I better discuss it on the journey to medical school. Say wo na person call medical school. And na se unu bi na person call medical school. And na se wadan for bi na person call medical school. And na oba unim qualities no oba dem oba betima call medical school. How obetimi ahya na bra say in term from the days of high school. And sana we high school akwakoye no ehun the right course to do on the undergrad. And said Wakura Medical School no, the road and the journey to medical school. You be do one come. After that, you best also the topic abrabwa say oba person ko join soldier and now police. Ewo Kroman me say ye dey no so be ban have the baby situation. Ehun any fear bebre and the war awofo mu ebusuafo mu enuanom adamfo anafofo mu when obi catches be say join soldier na fit we kwa no obi nesa ne ma bebre no ye be pet bre na fit ye discuss that topic no so me ankasa I did it myself 15 years in the US Air Force and I can beat my chest and be proud of it say in same bebre ankofo kan no bebre na ye myth but advantages a woman no and also see disadvantages no into when you na ya ade a ye be wet appetite also but in repair no yeah the topics in bebre sometime next 2 weeks next 3 weeks yeah the topics in bebre so also near the immigration lawyers ne edin common and also so that akwema say bibia go through a yeah so bebre sometime next month and I say April hodom no into the course so stay tuned with the program ebium so what topic bia pese discuss me say as time goes we will be talking about history our Ghana history say Volta region Ashanti region Greater Accra region Central region, Northern region, where all the rich cultures and everything, like the entire system regions are Ghana, I don't know. We'll try to find a common history. Eastern region has a rich culture over there. A lot of people don't even know. That side, there's a lot of rich history that comes from them, like Okonfo-Noche and the rest. In Tibipem, you better discuss here, no. My number no, me there are two Zoom hodom, but mesa bobo 513-487-8663. Mr. WhatsApp me. WhatsApp me now do dinka ho na one who say this is where you got my number from. You bet me I friend say now what topics be na wouldn't be a or your resource person or kasa you bet me I am a bibia so I come on. My number there 513-487-8663. So what's up me from outside USA another +1 account. No I the +1 until you the +1 513-487-8663. Medin EDPK. Sabre ye de dwumede no aba na wieye e wa hanum se mo mobile but first time nya yeda munya na ase yakopon shiramo da se na ebese hyewa biam. At this point a question and answers for Tatapsen. O questions are one nyina emma Tatapsen no director A class any Director Danny ewa hanum say sa so na ko Jimmy ni Lady Smart ni oba ni other leaders are or more ewa Tatapsen so ha mbebo ama answers no akototi. Nana Akowa Nana Kwame Akowa any ni di dwumede no so building your credit score. Yadamase samunya beka ya ho sabre yebe ende Facebook and YouTube na ya focus ewo Zoom hanum say medamase ya misha munyina